Hello everyone, I'm Tim from Tim's PC, and I build custom PCs to suit anyone's needs or budget. I also live stream my builds and repairs for transparency and educational purposes. So if you would like to get an awesome new PC and you'd like to see it get put together live, send me a message today. Alrighty, so tonight we got a double PC build going on. So something a little bit different, and you can tell we're definitely coming into Christmas when I'm building two PCs in a night. So yeah, all this stuff that you see on the table in front of you will be put into these two boxes tonight. So we've got a couple of different systems here. So one is a 5600G system, so a budget gaming PC, and it's going to go in this little case here. And then we've got another build here with an i5 and a Radeon RX 6600, which will be going into this big case here. Tim. Oh, hey man, how you going? Good to have you here. So yeah, we've got
one going for you.
Yeah, this guy's just recently had a baby.
Yes, he's so cute.
It's been a long time coming, so I'm sure Tim's very happy about all that. So very good. Alrighty, so like I said, we've got a couple of PCs here to build tonight. So the first one is 5600G, and we're going to be putting it on our old friend, the MSI B550 Pro VDH Wi-Fi motherboard. And our second one is going to be the i5 11400 here, and it's going on our Gigabyte UD B560 DSH3 AC motherboard.
Tim's just got a few of those.
I got a couple of them. It's that time of year. We've got some Rgb Fans for the second one there. We've got the same SSD going in both, so the Kingston NV1 500 gigabyte. One down here for later.
Don't get the parts mixed up.
No. So we've got 16 gigabytes of 3200 megahertz CL16 memory here for the Ryzen, and we've got some RGB memory, same speeds and timing, to go with our second PC. And then we've got two of these Thermaltake, what is it, the BX1 650 watt with the 5-year warranty, 80 plus bronze rated efficiency. So that can also go down there and out of the way. And finally, I can probably put the case out of the way, and I can get started on the first one.
Tim?
Yeah.
Glenn says, hey Tim, thanks for all your help so far with sorting out the PC build.
Oh, no worries, Glenn. Happy to help, man.
All good. It's what we do here.
Yeah, it's a bit of a crazy thing to get your head around, and yeah, a lot of.
You don't know the parts and stuff like that.
It's
overwhelming.
Yeah, exactly. Alrighty. So this is a new case here. This is this new Acer one. And it's got a couple of pre-installed RGB fans.
Oh yeah, I see one down the front there. Is there one on the back?
Yeah, and they appear to be 5-volt ARGB fans.
Oh, sweet.
So happy days.
How much was the case?
So this case was one of those good old Black Friday specials. So I saw this one for $55. I was like, bang.
Cha-ching.
Yep. Here you go. Better case, same price as the other one. A couple of RGB fans, why not? Yeah. Hey Tim, how you going?
You like Timothy or Tim?
Yeah, what do you prefer? I generally use people's shortened names on Facebook, because I realise that a lot of people will have their full name listed on Facebook, but that doesn't necessarily mean that in normal day-to-day social interactions they go by that name. So yeah, you let me know what you prefer.
He says Tim. Alright,
Yeah.
no worries.
Yeah, I thought so. I don't know too many Tims that prefer Timothy.
No, I don't think I've ever come across one.
Yeah, most of them are quite happy with Tim. All right. let's open up this case. Considering it is a new one, let's check out what we've got here. What's it got going for it? Okay, so it looks like what we've got, like an independent RGB controller in here. Yep, looks like it. So we don't have to use that because we've got the addressable header on this motherboard. So we can actually just plug in.
That's a good thing to have.
Yeah, but we can plug, because the button on the case there says LED, but we can hook it up to the reset switch, so you can have a reset button. So
Yeah, I don't like not having a reset button.
yeah, it's like a trade-off. It's using the existing technology in a different way. So instead of using that reset switch to reset the computer, you can use it to change the mode on the RGB controller. But we'll probably, considering we've got the right ports on the motherboard to support all this, I think we'll leave that alone, and we'll use the reset button just as a reset button, and we won't really worry about anything else. And what have we got here? Is that just a...
Is that your motherboard box
That's
name?
that's the
Too
RGB
big for it, though.
controller. So we've got two 3.5-inch drive trays. We've got room to mount a couple of SSDs at the back here. The 3.5-inch trays, you can obviously mount an SSD to them as well. So
Yeah, you're not restricted to only HDD.
yeah, so they've got the holes there for an SSD as well. So if you see a case that supports HDD, normally you can put a 2.5-inch SSD in that spot as well. Alrighty. So pretty basic stuff around the back here. We've got USB 3, we've got USB 2, and we've got HD audio and our power, reset, and case lights. So pretty standard here for the case. So you can put another 120mm fan on the front there. I don't think we're going to bother with that for this build. This 2-fan configuration is going to be fine here for the 5600G, and then only if the customer wants to add a graphics card or something like that, would they consider adding the extra 2 fans, because they're just not going to need it in this configuration.
Yeah, it's not going to get hot.
No, not at all. Alrighty. So
I'll get this open.
yeah, why not? So because we've got a bit of stuff to go through, I won't go through this board in detail like we normally do, but it has. We've done it plenty of times before.
I was going to say, you want to see this one and watch,
You can watch,
last night's
yeah.
build or the night before.
Yeah, it's been a little while. We've done a lot of Intel ones recently, the specials. Alrighty. Here's our motherboard. So we need to do a little bit of prep to this board.
Oh, they put the screws for the power supply in the power supply cable. Very good.
So we're just going to be using the stock AMD cooler, and ironically that means we have to remove the stock AMD brackets.
The bubble wrap that they've used for this is really shit. All the bubbles have been popped.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's some that are still alright.
So our Ryzen 5600G has built-in Radeon Vega 7 GPU. So it is a CPU and GPU in the one chip. So it's got realistically it's got good gaming performance for what it is. So if you're on a budget, it's not a bad way to go. There's a couple of little adjustments that you need to make in BIOS to get the most performance out of it, but they're really quite easy when you know what you're doing. So
only like a couple of cables that we need.
Yeah, there's not much we need because we're not installing a graphics card.
There's no other SSD. Do you want me to leave one SSD cable free in case the customer wants to put another storage in there?
Yeah. So just screw a couple of the corners in part way. Just make sure it's actually screwing in. This one is not. Tends to be difficult. There we go. And then once you've got two corners partially threaded, it's very easy to get the next two in place. Jesus, this board must be, not board, this box must be slightly indented in the middle. There we go. It's like, why doesn't that feel right?
No, not as yet. Glenn wants to know if we've got a backlog of PCs.
Yeah, no, not quite yet. We're keeping up. We're just keeping up.
I've got another week of holiday with Tim. So
But see, there's another. See, the thing is though, there's like, if you include the outstanding invoices, there's a backlog of PCs.
Yeah.
But if you don't include the outstanding invoices, if you just include like people who are paid up, that's not an issue.
There's a few people that like postpone and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's completely normal this time of year.
Stuff happens.
And see, people will also like they'll go and get their quote and they'll be like, "Yep, I'm getting this," but then they will pay for it over the next 3 to 4 weeks at this stage. That's just how Christmas shopping goes. Because a lot of companies pay like Christmas bonuses, or they pay quarterly bonuses or something like that, and it comes out just before Christmas, or annual bonuses and they come out before Christmas. So a lot of people are waiting to get that like extra little bit of money around Christmas time. So people are generally just waiting for that. So there's always going to be a few people there who are paying, who ask for it. And
You want advice? Get in now before everybody else.
yeah, exactly right. It's the calm before the storm, right? That's why we're doing 2 here tonight instead of the usual where we just do 1. Alrighty. What's up?
It says people spell postponed COVID now.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Oh.
Fucking COVID.
No, like there was one customer who was just like, yeah, just had like major car troubles, way more expensive than I thought. Have to put it off for another month, and that sort of shit happens, right?
You kind of need your car
Yeah.
more than you do.
A car is way more important than a computer. So we're not installing a graphics card in this one, so we might we might go ahead and put our SSD in this top slot since it's not going to be an issue, at least at first.
Because then you can't see it.
Yeah.
Don't forget to take the sticky off that.
Yeah, I know.
No, it's not just for you, Tim.
Yes, no, definitely take the sticky off. Oh, there's an extra offset in there. I don't want that sitting in the back of the drive. There we go. So that's our board all prepped. And we'll get this power supply sorted. Okay, so we're all organised out the back there. So we'll get some other stuff out of this box. So we need our I/O shield, Wi-Fi antennas. We'll install our SATA cables just in case the customer wants to upgrade anything. And the most important part is our MSI Go Faster badge. And M2 screws. I'll put an M2 screw in that bottom slot, just so you've got one there, because they don't include the screws with the drives. So it's very annoying if you don't have that screw. Alrighty. So, get our I/O shield in, and then we'll get on with it. So we'll put this PC together very quickly because obviously no graphics card, no major RGB cables to worry about. Like we've got two, but it's not going to slow us down. We've got no fans or extra cooling to install. And we do have a couple of offsets to install. Couldn't get around. Give it another go. Couldn't get around that. So we've got two extras to install. sweet as. Okay. So I'll put it back up. Everything looks nice and lined up at the back there. Yeah.
Lenses. PC store in Tech here in Melbourne did a number on my current build in 2016 and chose components and got little to no help, and I thought I knew what I was doing when I went back there after spending 7K. Holy crap. They said get what you paid for. No support after that. Never went back. Oh, dude,
That's pretty poor.
yeah. Spend so much money there.
I don't even think Umart would screw you over that much.
No.
And they don't have like a great reputation for like. There are some people with horror stories, but it's horror stories from all major PC retailers. Like, let's just not. Yeah. That's just how it is, unfortunately.
With big companies like that, you just get.
Oh, you tied up the wrong one.
Oh, did I? Oh, I'm sorry.
You left me with a graphics card power, not a CPU.
I was. As an afterthought, I'm like, oh, hang on, what's that?
You didn't check.
Glenn says we'll take on. Come on, man, speak on build. Tim,
Yeah.
some YouTube says nice, and then Darren Gilhome says hi.
Hey guys, how you going? Good to have you here on a Sunday night. Smashing out a couple of PC builds. Yeah, so this little one here, the Ryzen 5600G, this is pretty much, if you've got like $1,000 or just over $1,000 to spend on a computer right now and you want it for gaming and you don't want to get ripped off, this is what you buy. You get this 650 watt power supply, Ryzen 5600G, whatever case and other stuff that you can afford to go with it. You get that for now, and then you got a nice 650 watt power supply and a Ryzen 5000 series CPU. So you can add pretty much whatever graphics card you want when you get the money for it, or when you can get one at a good price. That way, you're not wasting your money on some like dunga computer that's like, 5 years old and like ready to start failing essentially. little bit close, but I can get that. There we go. So now we got the right one. They look pretty much the same. But yeah, always check that 4-pin line there at the end. So if it's got, so I don't have, do I have a spare modular cables? No. So I don't know if this will mean much to you, but on the PCIe ones, they've got a different pattern of the pins, and also on the back of the cable you can see that this one, the CPU one, can be split apart and this one can't. So on the cables, I was saying that the CPU one, they've got a different shape pin configuration. Yeah, no, but like the shapes of the little things on the end are different.
They're bigger.
Well, there's square ones and like U-shaped ones. And so there's a different pattern of square and U-shaped pins, which means that you can't plug one into the other. Have a look. There's just a couple of them that are different.
So what's that one?
So that's the graphics card, and that's the CPU there. See how they're like different? They're not all the same shape. You got square ones and U-shaped ones, and they're not all in the same order. So if you go try to plug that into a CPU power socket or that into that, even though it's 8 pins, it still won't fit correctly. Yeah. Okay, what have we got back here? It's our RGB cable. Yeah. Hey, how you going? Where's our RGB cable for our front?
Tim,
Yeah.
Glenn says, if I want to combine my current PC specs components, could you see what can be recycled into the new build?
Yeah, absolutely. Send it through.
More likely just go all new, but curious as to what can be recycled.
Yeah.
Obviously reviewing your not live.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's alright. Send us through some stuff if you want.
Yep. After all that saying, I didn't need to run any cables behind the board.
You do?
Yeah. will still I will still have enough length down here to do that. Yep.
Len says, how could we recycle my Commodore 64 in a new build?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. That would be an interesting PC. Oh, we'll leave it at that.
I'm showing my age.
No, I've. That was one of the first computers that I ever used as well, so don't worry too much about that. I don't really know how old I look to people. Do I look my age? How old do you think I am? Okay, don't plug into the COM port. Okay. So now we've just got our front panel connections.
If I was to guess your age, I'd probably say at least 30.
Yeah, well, you would be correct. So our LED switch here is going to go into the reset header, so it's going to be a reset button. And then our power LED, the two that we really can't reverse the polarity on. If not, when it's off, the light will be on, and when it's on, the light will be off. That's not what you want.
Should you put a little speaker in there, maybe?
Diagnostic speaker? No, I don't think so. No. Did we get one with the case? Oh, we did actually get one with the case. Let's put one in. The speaker. We actually got one with the case. So our diagnostic speaker goes in on this header here.
I really like the speaker, but that's just nostalgia.
Yeah, pretty much. So we're going to plug it in because we've got room to conceal the actual speaker down here, so it doesn't look too out of place. I normally don't plug them in because they sort of stick out and look a little bit weird. And unless you're like
yeah, sometimes the diagnostic thing can be like, you know, in the middle.
Yeah, it can be in an awkward spot, and it's just like, yeah, I'm not going to bother with that because it's usually the sort of feature that only a tinkerer sort of needs, someone who plays around with things. And generally, that person doesn't come to me for a PC build. They generally build it themselves. So it's like, you know, understand your customer. Yeah.
It says, I liked reading the review. People have left you solid satisfaction there, man.
Oh, cheers.
That's always good to hear.
Yeah,
That's
we
what we strive
we try to, because it's a bit of a
Each customer is different, so, you know.
bit of a shitty industry. Oh look, I'm definitely gonna have to pull. I don't like that. What's that gonna look like? Is that gonna look alright? We got a pretty thin cable here. It might look alright. Yeah, that'll be okay. I'm happy with that. Yeah, that thickness of cable's a bit too much for behind the board anyway. I'd have to like spread it out. No, that's going to look the neatest. Alright. We are really, really close now. Where's our USB 3 on this board? Oh yeah, it's got that horizontal orientation. I like that. So yeah, be careful with these. They're probably the most delicate pins on the board.
Yeah. I made a bad mistake.
She learned the hard way.
I mushed them in. It's gonna have to fix it for me.
Yeah, that was funny. I love repairing USB 3 pins. They're even more fun than CPU pins.
They're so thin and delicate.
Mm-hmm.
They're just, yeah.
Alrighty, so back here I need a grand total of 1 cable tie. 1 cable tie will do it.
Tim,
Yeah.
lens on the money says small business equals personal, big business equals you're a number.
Yeah, basically right, man.
Even working for a big business,
Yes, you're just a number.
Speaking to somebody who works for big business.
Speaking to somebody who's worked for many big businesses, well not many, 3 big businesses. But for long periods of time. Alright. We are actually done. That is our rig. We don't have to add a graphics card. We've actually got all of our RGB plugged in. And so that's all we got out the back. Just one main line of cables, a couple of other cables running from up here, but all in all, it's relatively neat. We've got 1 cable tie if we need to change anything in this configuration, so it's all just loose in there. We've got 1 cable tie around our excess power cables down there. And just with that, we'll be able to just close our panel off, slide it closed, just like that. Won't be an issue or anything like that. Won't have any bulge or any sort of, you won't have to press down to close it or anything like that. And that's really what you want. You don't need it to be completely perfect looking out the back there, because at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be perfect. The worst thing is if it is looking completely perfect out the back there, then if you have like say 1 fan dies, then you take it to someone like me and it's going to take like an extra 45 minutes to cut out like the 20 zip ties just to remove that 1 fan and then put it all back. So then you end up spending shitloads in labour for nothing, when fundamentally that's why they give you this space out the back for cables, so you don't have to, you know, tie them down with a million cable ties. I've used a grand total of 2, 1 for power supply cables, 1 for everything else. The panel fits on nice and neat at the back there. That is what you want. Alright, so we can put our glass panel on. I'm pretty confident in our configuration, but I'm sure just because I've said that, something will go wrong. But watch and find out.
Tim,
Yeah.
mine says, I used to work for Commonwealth Bank, now I'm a local rewards officer and ranger for council.
Ah, very.
I enjoy providing the community support in my capacity.
Yeah, nice one.
Nice.
Yeah, very different from working like at a company like CBA. Yeah, I've done my time. I've done time with Coles Group. I've done time with Metcash. I've done time with Asahi. Done time. It's like being in jail.
Yeah, kind of.
I think you could definitely say my roles were definitely like being in jail.
Glenn says I was a baker for Coles.
Oh yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yay, another Coles worker.
Yeah, Christine's still.
You know what it's like, though.
She's still enslaved.
I'm not allowed to say I'm enslaved.
You're not allowed to.
Well, I'm not allowed to say anything. So we need to stop right there.
There you go.
So I signed something for Coles, didn't I?
Does this class as social media?
Yes. I read the thing.
You read the thing?
I read the thing.
There's no hole in it in the document.
No, there's not.
See, sometimes there's holes.
There was a defamation label case and stuff like that. There was, yeah.
But we're not defaming the company here by talking about your employment status with the company. Like, you're not doing anything. We're just saying, and I didn't say anything. You didn't say anything. I said something. So, and do you really think Coles is watching?
Probably not.
I don't think Coles is watching. Okay. Alrighty.
It's alive. Your face off now.
Here we go. Alrighty, so let's go over what BIOS version are we running here? 2.8. I got 2.91. So let's go 2.91. Just while we've got it here.
Pretty.
And so yeah, we'll knock this one out, and
I
then
actually kind of like those fans. They're pretty cool.
yeah, they're alright.
You can control the colours, right?
Well, I plugged in an addressable cable, so I'm assuming so.
Maybe its default colour is green. I don't know.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not sure. I might have to. Actually, I know what I have to do.
What do you have to do?
Something that I'm not going to do while the BIOS is updating, because that can be
You
bad.
might not want to do
I don't want to set the wrong example. You shouldn't be touching or working on the computer while it's doing a BIOS update. If you don't have a uninterruptible power supply, UPS, you shouldn't be doing BIOS updates at home. Especially not this season in Australia, being La Nina and all the rain and all that could potentially disrupt power. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so we got 1,000 watts here that this is plugged into. So the power goes off here. The stream will cut out. The streaming computer's not plugged into the UPS because we can't keep everything going and like the lights go out and shit. So the stream would die if the power goes off. But fundamentally, we won't lose the power to my computer here, the test bench, or the computer that we're working on. So that's the main thing. So I can run these BIOS updates with an extra percentage of confidence more than an average person can here when I do it. It's like in controlled conditions. So yeah, if you've got...
and show you guys, but the camera won't reach.
Oh, you could tip it down.
Oh yeah, it does rotate.
Yeah. So that's what a UPS is. It's just a black box. It's essentially a box with batteries inside it, and you plug power outlets into it, and everything that's on there has a battery backup. So if you lose power, your devices will not lose power. The batteries kick in as soon as the power goes out. So it would have some nice chunky capacitors in there, so there'd be a bit of a buffer between when the power goes out and the unit losing power and the batteries turning on. They manage how that transition works. So yeah, if you're curious, just look up how does a UPS work. There'll be an awesome animation, no doubt, on YouTube. Alrighty, so our BIOS will be all updated there. And so we'll go once it actually posts, we'll go into BIOS and we'll configure the settings that we need to. With a 5600G, we really want to make sure that it's got plenty of dedicated memory for VRAM, because that'll get us some more performance out of it. Oh, and luckily I've got a reset button.
What'd you do?
Oh, it didn't go to BIOS for me. Alrighty. I had issues with XMP recently. I'm scared to do that. I'm gonna first. We're gonna go into. So we're going to set it with 4 gigabytes of dedicated VRAM. So it was on game mode, but we'll just specify 4.
So
Yeah.
when those things are going to go be in touch.
No worries, Glenn. You have a good one. Okay. So we'll just set that like that for now. We'll get Windows starting to install on this, and then I might actually start prepping this board for the second one. So it's a very, very similar board, but it is a gigabyte branded one. with this board, we get the onboard Wi-Fi, we get RGB headers, we get all of the things that we would expect to see. I'll get this install going on. I'll put that in later. Don't have time, gotta keep going, got stuff to do.
Hurry up.
Alrighty, so we get Windows installing there on our main drive, and we can start prepping up this motherboard. So, where are my scissors? Underneath all my shit. So this is the i5-10400 here, which is essentially the price performance king right now when it comes to a gaming CPU. So this CPU, for what it is, performs 90% of the performance that you get from a CPU that costs about $200 more. So definitely a winner when it comes to value for money. And obviously the CPU is the last piece that you spend money on for your gaming PC. You'd spend more money on your graphics card before you spent more money on your CPU, and you'd probably even spend more money on your memory before you'd spend more money on your CPU. But that's debatable. The CPU and memory are both roughly equally important. Okay, that's all done. So we've got the black Intel cooler here for this one with the copper center. So you wouldn't have seen me apply any thermal paste to this or the previous CPU cooler, and that is because there is pre-applied thermal compound on both coolers. Alright, so we've got that installed. We'll get our M2 drive installed. And so we'll install this on the bottom slot here. So we've got nice easy access to the top slot in case we want to install another M2 SSD. And we've got our memory here. So our Data Spectrix D41 3200 MHz CL16 memory. So I don't think I'll have time to install this before Windows is done, so we're going to lose a little bit of efficiency here, but that's okay. Oh, and I'm installing the RAM upside down, so that's always good. It works really good upside down. Alright, so we got the other board prepped and ready to go. So we can finish the Windows install here. So let's go over to Australia. Use the US keyboard layout because of the $sign. So I always set up just a blank account, and I'm not agreeing to any of this on your behalf, so Okay. So we've got a board all ready to go there. We've got some case fans, got a graphics card. So we can now just finish off this Windows install, plugging in an internet cable, because it can now have access to the internet. And the reason why that gets plugged in now, because if you're connected to the internet, it forces you to make a Microsoft account or log in with a Microsoft account. And I like to leave it blank so you can get your PC and then log into your Microsoft account. There's no forecast rain.
For December. February.
Okay. So we'll go over to Windows updates, get all that going on, tidy up down here a bit. Alright, that should just instantly download for us. There it goes. Thank you, Gigabit Internet. Looking at the weather forecast in detail.
Go rain.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's all going on. Didn't install our display driver, that's okay.
Look at all the low pressures hanging there.
Yeah, that's normal. So they because of where it is, they get like intense low pressure systems. You've heard of, in America, they got that polar vortex that fucks them up.
This one's a
That's
953. That's 952.
well, all these things here. These are Antarctic vortexes. So low pressure systems there. That, yeah. So if we were a little bit further south, like Tasmania, they can get hit with essentially an Antarctic vortex.
Yeah, they kind of, but not really.
Yeah, not this time of year.
It's too far south.
Yeah. You can see Argentina's the closest to Antarctica down there in South America. So they get really cold temperatures. Okay, I've got everything all going on there, so we'll do some third-party apps.
So,
Yep.
Brandon says busy night, mate.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I gotta make sure I keep up. It's very easy to drop the ball this time of year. Okay, yep.
Both coasts of Australia are pretty much covered by a low pressure trough. There's a cold front movement.
Mm.
Plus there's another low pressure over New Zealand, which is in between us and New Zealand. Rain everywhere. And we kind of need it after all the fires that we've had.
Yeah.
Though it's not good with the flooding because it washes all the new growth away and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Soft soil or whatnot.
Yep. No. Yes. Did I do this?
Tim says it's in Tassie.
Tim's down in Tassie, is he? Oh yeah.
That's the only state we haven't been
Yeah.
to yet.
The only one, just because we couldn't drive there.
No.
We had to get on a boat or a plane.
Can't wait to go to Tassie one day.
Yeah,
Just
it'll be
pretty
good.
down there.
It'll be good.
I have to go to Cradle Mountain. That's like one thing I'm obsessed with.
Okay, that's all installed. Alrighty, we're nearly done with the software.
Maybe I should take a month off and go to Tasmania.
No, we're going to see Mickey and Celeste in Roma.
Yes. And check out their restaurants.
Yeah.
Their food looks so good. As someone who does platters, those people know how to make platters. If you ever go to Roma, you need to check out them.
But we don't know their names, so we can't call them out.
I'm gonna look it up right now. 'Cause here we go. Just a casual shout out to our friends. But no, seriously, if you're ever in Roma, Queensland, please check out this cafe because they do some really good stuff.
Very nice. Okay.
That actually looks pretty good. Check this out. It's called Savory Mince.
Nice. Okay, so we can go ahead and restart. What's that?
What's this?
Ah,
Beef stroganoff. Yes. Well, now I'm getting hungry. I need to stop.
yeah.
Glenn wants to know what's the most expensive PC you've built.
Oh, it's probably the Threadripper workstation. That was like over 10 grand.
Yeah, it was actually.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good build.
Yeah. That was for running five
That was the,
projectors in
yeah,
Mosaic.
Yeah, he does shows for like exhibitions and stuff like that. He
Yeah.
has a 360-degree like projector.
Yeah, so like
Displays like ads, whatnot.
okay, so
Tim.
yeah.
Tim says it would be good to have his down.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Len says, oh, and I think I heard you say Chris, your partner there?
Yes.
Well, Chris, Christine, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call me. I
Whatever
don't
you
really
want to call
care.
her.
I usually respond to anything.
Hey you.
Don't turn around.
Hey girl. Oh. Windows still not wanting to get let our Radeon drivers install.
When's this coming phone? Hey Glenn.
Why are you misbehaving? Okay then, but there is no pending update. I just checked. I just checked it.
What's this, you know, because you can hit him while you're live. It's funny that way. I do like throwing things at him.
Alright, we'll reboot you again. Maybe this time. Because we definitely want the right graphics drivers installed here. At a bad time, we don't have the right graphics card drivers. There should normally be some cumulative updates. So,
I was just thinking maybe I should like put like a random box of like things to throw at you and stuff like that during the feeds.
pretty much.
One day it's a tennis ball.
I think it's actually going to work now. Because it hasn't failed yet.
Don't get me wrong, I like green, but why is it stuck?
Oh, sorry, there's...
Because, you know,
Yeah.
green means money color.
Does it?
Yeah.
Well, that's the colour of the American money, but ours... Well, we got $100 notes, they're kind of green.
It's just told us I was growing up that, you know, green is a lucky colour. And if you have a green wallet, that means you're going to have more money coming in.
Alrighty. So we need to turn this from... Where are we? Here we go. Well, I'm gonna need something thinner to access that. So we need to turn the independent controller onto addressable mode. There we go. Now it's on addressable mode.
That's a bit better. Is there screws at the back of that?
Huh?
Oh.
Oh, I'm just putting these bolts in.
Yeah, I was like, is there screws?
Yeah. Alrighty, graphics card drivers. Probably gonna have to, we're gonna have to restart the stream. So just hold on a second while I change the mode and turn HDCP off. So I'll be back in about 10 seconds. Sorry about that, it can be a bit annoying. Unfortunately, every time I restart, that particular setting gets changed back. It's not a problem on NVIDIA drivers, it's just a problem on Radeon drivers. Righty, so back in Windows now, and if we go into Task Manager, we can see our graphics cards there. We can see that we've got 4 gigabytes allocated there for VRAM. If we go up to our memory, we can see that we've got 16 gigabytes, but we've only got 12 available here for Windows because we've marked 4 gigabytes for use with the GPU. So, what do you get with a 5600G? What can it do? So I'm not going to run. Ooh. Okay, Msi Afterburner decided not to work. We don't really need Afterburner as such. Did Rgb Tuner install okay on its own? No. Alright, so I'll have to reinstall Msi Afterburner. It's a bit of a pain. So obviously something stuffed up there when we were installing. So that looked like it went through normally. And won't have much to do here. It should be pretty much done now because all of those downloads will be done. There we go. Sweet, let's run Msi Afterburner. There we go. Alright, so we don't need to worry about fans. That doesn't even show up because we don't have a graphics card plugged in. Okay, so we're not going to run all of our benchmarks on this one because we've got a bit of extra stuff to do tonight, but we will run Heaven on low to give you an idea of how this runs. So we'll change that to low, 1080p. So what do you get without a graphics card? I think you'll find that it's reasonable. And this is at 1080p, so if we run the same scene, I'm just going to get out this quickly. If we run the same scene there on 720, I'll show you the performance difference to give you an idea. So do the same thing at 720. Now we're running over 100 frames a second here in the opening scene. So no graphics card, 720p, and pretty much pretty much any game you play will run at a respectable level. And so this is how you buy yourself a PC, start gaming today without wasting your money, and then you get yourself a solid PC with a 3-year warranty, ongoing support from like a business like me, and then you just have to add a graphics card. When you find a cheap one, or the prices drop, or when you've just saved up enough money to slow USB 2. Yeah. Hey, UK Young. Double build here tonight. All Radeon graphics. So happy about that. Well, Mick, you know what I'm like. You know what I'm like, mate. Like, I don't discriminate when it comes to brands and stuff like that. So people right now who are on a budget are generally going to get this recommendation from me, because right now it's the best price to performance graphics out. Unless this is all you've got to spend, you don't buy a 1650. You spend the extra $300 and you get this.
Same price.
No, it's 1650.
Oh, 16.
They're like around 500, which is ridiculous. Yes. If you're gonna spend $500, I know it sounds like, I know it's like, 60% more, but it's more than 60% more performance. It's like twice or more performance. So it's like spend 60% more, get over 100% more. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And if you don't, unless you have enough money to go up to the next performance tier, which is like 6700 XT and RTX 3060 Ti, they're around $1,200, $1,300. So if you don't have that extra $500 on top of the $800, then those cards aren't really an option for you. So you've got to look at the cheaper ones. And if you're looking at the cheaper ones under $1,000, this is your boy right now. So yeah, heaven. Oh. Shit, sitting there at 100%. I was just talking about how, like, price performance on graphics cards. This is your boy right now for under $1,000. If you got under $1,000 to spend on a graphics card, this is best price performance. You can also go the RX 6600 XT if you want a fraction more performance. Be about $50 to $100 more.
To mix this better.
Yeah. Well, we won't run the stress test on this one yet because I've got another PC to build now. So I'm going to shut this one down. I'll do a stress test on this one tomorrow morning when I wake up. But this is good to go, essentially. So we should be able to ship this one off tomorrow. Unplug all this stuff. I've got the board prepped for our second PC.
Jeez, why don't they have to put sticky on both sides?
I don't know.
Destructive intruders.
Alrighty. So we got the CL500, I think it's called. Back here again. So really nice case.
I really
It's
like
got the-
this case, actually.
It's got the glass panel that just comes off with some magnets.
Really destructive.
Yeah,
Look
just
at that.
yeah.
Why is it?
They're really hard to get into.
Jeez.
Okay.
Meow. Do you want dinner? Meow. I think someone's hungry.
Someone hungry.
Meow.
Got a fan. I'm a fan. I'm a real fan.
These boxes are pristine proof. I really struggle to get them out. At least you know the packaging's good.
Yeah. See, one of those, I need to actually unbox a few without ripping anything for potential RMAs. So I actually need to get, so you can appreciate the challenge of this. I actually need to get a few of these out of the box without ripping anything. Ideally.
Can have a knife then.
No. You can do whatever you want with those ones. That's fine.
Okay. These boxes are really freaking thick. I don't understand why they're so thick. It doesn't need to be that thick.
I thought I still had one bolt to go on that fan, but apparently there's 4 in there. it's definitely a bit harder to put the fans on this way, but getting the fans closer to the dust filter grade on the front of the case will give you a better visual effect. So while it's a bit harder to do this, it's worth it for the look.
Do you need any of that?
Probably not. Oh, jeez.
What's wrong? Maybe you should use a smaller screwdriver. Oh my god.
No. Definitely not.
Hang on. No, it's not.
Yeah. You don't know what I'm doing. Take your hand away.
Sorry, I'm trying to help.
I know. But see, the screw came through.
Oh.
It was,
Oh, that's bent now.
yeah, it's just aluminium.
Oh,
It's bent back.
I see.
Yeah, it's just a shitty angle I was on, which you can expect. There we go. Okay. Alrighty, we've got our RGB fans there on the front. And where's that front panel?
The only thing that's missing is one on the back.
Yeah, oh, we can add an extra fan if Diego wants. They're only $20 each, the RGB fans. So they're not very expensive or anything. They're just a fraction more than a regular fan. Okay, so we need to put a couple of offsets in place here because we've got a micro ATX board in an ATX case. Yeah.
Lenses, I've just messaged you my PC details. I feel like I've just raped my PC and exposed its naughty bits. By the way, I'm not liable if my PC specs make your head explode thinking I'm on drugs.
No
Well, I
worries.
think Tim's seen worse.
Oh yeah, I've seen this. Guaranteed. I've seen some things, man,
And some
and some stuff. I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, so we've got an I/O shield here. We'll get that installed in our case.
Cut yourself.
This was screwing with me last night in this
Yeah,
case.
you like pushed it through last night. I've seen you doing that before and you like sliced your finger open.
Yeah, I won't do that. That's a you got me one time case.
So,
Yeah.
Glenn says you've seen things, horrible things.
Yes.
Things you cannot unsee.
Yes. 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 That.
Yes.
That's exactly right.
That's who we ever think of.
Yeah. Put my screwdriver bit in the right way, that might be a bit better. Yeah, it's all good. Alrighty. So we'll just put that one screw in there for now. Because until then we want to run a few cables behind the motherboard. Alright, what's this? HD audio.
Like those LED strip ones. Oh.
Yeah, you can add LED strips.
Can't
RGB
really shove one
fans.
down there though. That's really, it's too
It's a
tight.
bit tight. Yeah, you wouldn't see much of it anyway because of the side panel.
You could maybe like on there.
Yeah.
It's
The
better if
glass
the it's
is
better
tinted,
it's
though.
better with the RGB ones if you don't actually see the LEDs. It's better if you just see like the light from them.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Okay, so we got a triple fan controller. Sorry, we got a quad fan controller, but it really should just be used with 3 fans. You may run into some voltage problems.
So
Yeah.
Glenn says put screw drive bit in the right way. It'll well. That happened to me and my partner once, and we've never spoken of it since. Oh no.
Okay, so those are out of the way. Then we've just got RGB cables here.
The unspoken.
Front panel connections. Okay. And so we'll just once again we'll shove these down behind our board so it's nice and discreet. Okay. Okay.
So that's everything plugged in, I think. Where's our RGB header on this board? Oh no, it's right in the middle at the bottom. This will be fun. Okay, nothing, we don't need to do anything crazy at the top. Okay. So I had to pull that middle screw out in order to feed this RGB cable down here. If not, we'd have cables coming out the bottom. Can't have that. Alright, so RGB fan controller. Where's our fan controller cable? Yeah. Alrighty, so we've got our fan controller plugged in. I just realised I'm getting real ahead of myself. I don't have a power supply in here. So I guess we can go do that now. Yeah, it's one of those like really important pieces of the computer, you know. Last time I tried, computers don't work too good on AC current. Kind of need this DC converter box, also known as a power supply. Oh, really? Jesus Christ, guys. What's up?
One says power supply, but use a high amount. Overrated, just use 2 potatoes and coffee.
Yeah, well, at least it's DC. At least it's DC current. Alright. So now we've got some massive cables. We need our motherboard power. Oh, we need our graphics card power, and we need our CPU power. We need other cables. We can stash them away for later use.
Does that motherboard have like lithium panels like that? Or is it lithium ones?
No, it's paddles.
Yeah.
Do you want to show the people what we're talking about? People are probably very confused right now. That's it. So I'm going to put a bit of electrical tape around these RGB daisy chain connections, just to stop them coming loose. Okay, that's looking pretty good.
So,
Yeah.
I need to know, is this your full-time gig now?
Yes.
Yes. He's been doing this for over a year now. Over a year now. As a full-time thing, that is.
Yeah. Touch. Okay, now we can. Yeah.
That's cool. Nice.
Now that's going to be a pain over there, so you'll have to go over here. I left my corporate job. When was it? Oh yeah, February? January?
This year, last year.
Yeah. Nah, this year.
Was
Yeah. Start of this year. That's when I started doing this full time. Not when I started doing this. Not when I made the Facebook page. Alrighty, so we'll just put one cable tie around these thin wires, fans and RGB, so we won't complicate that. Alrighty, so what have we got left? We don't have USB-C on this board. And our USB A is in a bit of a shitty spot. 2 more. Alrighty. That is looking pretty good. So now we've just got our CPU power, sorry, our motherboard power cable, CPU power cable.
I don't think CPU power cables that big.
One day.
Maybe when we're all.
Maybe.
Alrighty, I'm going to install a couple of SATA cables.
I don't think that graphics card holder is going to reach.
Oh, what? They're upside down. It's definitely going to have to go on this one.
What's wrong?
Oh, the cable's like doesn't go in the right direction. I'll plug that one in there. So I actually can't remember if this has got a hard drive with it. Do you reckon you could check that for me? Alright, let's check the paddles on. That's a paddling. Diego.
Yeah, I know. As soon as I looked at it,
Alright. So we're gonna need slots 1 and 2
really
for
very
this.
good, so yeah, no.
No, didn't have a hard drive. So sometimes I forget the hard drive.
Cool.
What's up?
That's awesome you've chosen to do this full time. Not easy, guys. I tried to stream guitar-based lessons. Not fly.
Yeah.
I have a face for radio.
Yes, yes.
Always wanted to learn guitar, especially bass.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I know air guitar. Pretty good.
Maybe when
No,
I
I'm
click
kidding. I don't even know air guitar.
Maybe when I click colors, I should.
Take up the hobby.
Yes.
I love how they just cover these cards in plastic, eh?
To keep it nice. No scratches.
It's a Japanese company, so like, what do you expect? And is very proud of the tech that they make.
So,
Yeah.
Sam wants to know what's your thoughts on the tool systems. Looks amazing. I think it's overrated. I mean, how much more high def can one get.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Well, if you're looking at 4K, then
With the water cooling systems, like you can put there are two types of water coolers. There are the all-in-one liquid coolers, which are factory sealed units that come with like manufacturer's warranty and stuff like that, and an expected lifespan and all that, and you can pretty much add them and not really worry too much. The custom water cooled PCs, like comes to me wanting me to build them one, I try and talk them out of it. And then if they still really want it, I get them to buy their own parts and bring them to me, because I don't want to deal with any of the warranty stuff with it if the customer doesn't take care of them. Because those custom water-cooled PCs, they require a certain amount of maintenance and stuff. And if you don't maintain them properly, or if if you don't maintain them properly and you don't have the knowledge to maintain them properly, then you're going to run into problems. So in general, the kind of rationale is if you can't build it yourself, you shouldn't have a custom water cooled PC. Obviously you can, but you need to be prepared to do the maintenance that's involved.
there's
Like,
always mold and stuff.
it's
like that
not so much about
grows.
mold. It's just like the little bubbles of air
Oh,
that build
yeah.
up like around the CPU block and on like corners and stuff like that. Just having to tilt the PC on a certain angle like every couple of days to make air move through the loop, so you don't have air constricting the flow of liquid, and or little nitty gritty things like that are just like daily maintenance items. So it's not like a
If you're doing a water cooled PC, it's almost like for fun.
yeah, it's purely for fun. It is going to get you better performance if you're overclocking and stuff like that.
Yeah,
That's the only reason why you bother
That's
doing it.
real enthusiasts, though.
Yeah, absolutely. To run, and it's probably going to be. We'll probably go the same way that we did last night. I believe we came in through here. Side. Okay, sweet as. Might need one cable tie just around that power cable because of the magnetic panel there. It stays on, but it's just a little bit loose. Perfect. Now our back panel fit on nicely.
And we can put our glass panel on there. Ready to go. Let's plug in some power. Let's plug in some keyboard and mouse. So no BIOS update on this board because we are already running the latest. Alright, I think I saw a little flash of light then, so I think why am I not seeing RGB on the fans? Is that not going to come onto the post? What's that? Oh no, there we go. Oh, you can't really see the fan. Alrighty, we should be just about there. Okay. Activate that XMP profile and we'll go over to our fans and we'll make sure they're all just set to PWM. They should auto select to PWM, but I don't really trust it. Alright. And I need a Windows installation USB. Okay. Alright, let's keep moving. Alrighty. So luckily we do not live in the United States. They got some shit to sort out over the next 10 years. Okay. Let's get some internet in here. See, I know I'm not good to go though, Microsoft. You aren't good to go because you don't have the latest version of Store. It looks completely different. Alrighty, now it's doing it. So let's now plug in our USB and let's get some drivers for this motherboard going on. So we've got a gigabyte board here. So we need App Center. What was that playing up for me? Okay. Okay, so where are we up to? Epic. No IQ. Intel drivers.
Okay, we have to install our Radeon drivers a bit later. Get Office downloading. Steam. So MSI Afterburner is going to fail again. Yeah, I think MSI Afterburner needs to be reinstalled. So I'd say, yeah, that same problem from before has happened again with MSI Afterburner here. That's why it hasn't already installed. Okay. So we can go ahead and reboot. Oh. Let's put the glass on the right way. And then we just got our graphics card drivers to install. And we can start the stress test. Okay. Stupid thing. We did have to reinstall Msi Afterburner. Just do that quickly now. Okay, so I think we've definitely got everything else we need from in here. Jeez, a lot of stuff didn't install properly. Okay.
Okay. Alright, there we go. And we don't have anything else to do, no other drives to install or anything. Alrighty. So we are all up to date. Excellent. Alrighty. So let's see what she's capable of. Alright, let's get these fans tuned. Oh shit. This will be our GPU. Okay. So we got hardware monitor open there.
So we can start with heaven on high. This is just the out of the box settings here at 1080. And so this number here below RAM is our frames per second. And I'm off for a toilet break. Alrighty, so that was heaven. Out of the box settings. And so next we'll run Valley on Ultra give you a bit of a different take on 1080p. So last night we did an extra benchmark on 720p low in superposition, and we're going to compare how the i3 10100 goes against the 11400 at 720p using DirectX 12 and all that. So can I build a PC for $100? $900. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that at the moment because I've got some secondhand stuff. In terms of an all new gaming PC, so probably I would have to go second. now the one that we're going to be comparing, which is 720p low. So I would be imagining the higher base clock speed is going to give us a bit of an advantage here.
Do you have any
I do, but I've got very few. That is a decent performance improvement there. So the i3 with the same graphics card scored 19,700, and this one scored, as you can see, 25,466. So at a more CPU intensive benchmark, you can see that the 11400F certainly pulls ahead there. So you can see what I took a photo of last night for comparison. You should be able to make out the specs on that. So this is the i3 10100F versus the 11400 at 720p low. So this is like more CPU intensive. So that's where the extra $150 on the CPU goes, if you were interested. Alrighty, so the final part of our night. Oh, why do I close hardware monitor? This is where we do the stress test. So log our temperatures with hardware monitor. We'll open up Cinebench, which stresses our CPU, and we're going to open up Firmark, which will stress our graphics card. I'm not going to worry about an update, I don't really care. It's going to run horrible, but I don't care because as long as it's got the CPU up there at 100%, this doesn't have to run smooth, if you know what I mean. We just need this to be stressing out the graphics card. This is a new 6600 is a new card, so that's what the Firmark update's all about. Oh fuck. That's what the Firmark update's all about. Because you can see when we opened it up, it was running really, really, like, I don't know if you can see it, it's not running very, very well there. 17 frames a second. But that's not the problem. We're not testing frame rate here. We're just stressing out the graphics card, and we're going to stress out the CPU. Alrighty. Okay, how's our graphics card going? Staying nice and cool there. Utilization is high. Not really stressing out the memory too much. We could change that. But with temperatures like this, I'm not too concerned. And our i5 will stop boosting soon. Oh, it's already stopped. 43.9 at boost, but it's going to hold 4.2 there, which is pretty good.
So cool. I like the finish of the silver.
Yeah,
It looks really good.
it's stylish. Yeah. Alrighty, so this is the point where I throw it over to anyone who's watching. If you got any other final questions for me before I sign off, now's the time to speak. It's looking pretty quiet. It's Sunday night. Everyone's already tired and got to get up early tomorrow to go to work. I don't have to get up and go to work, but I've got to work like every day. So there's good things and there's bad things.
I've been on holidays yet. I feel like I've worked every day.
That's just life. You just like have time off. A day's a day. You'll do a variety of different things in a day.
I thought it was Monday today, but it's Sunday. So, you know.
You've been off on your days for ages. Because your brain is making sense of what day of the week it is based on like your work pattern.
Yeah.
So you're not like customized to like knowing the day of the week when you're just staying at home all day. Whereas to me, like I'm in a rhythm of it. So days still, it's to me this feels like a Sunday. Today feels like a Sunday. Tomorrow's a Monday. There's like certain things I do on a Monday that I don't do on other days usually. So like that's coming up tomorrow. I know there's stuff I'm gonna do. In fact, I might do some of it tonight. But yeah, that's you fall into a rhythm, and you understand, and you get a sense of what day of the week it is better.
Yeah, I guess.
Alrighty, well, I think that might be it for the night. So I think I've done alright. Smashed out 2 PC builds. I've got one more to stress test tomorrow morning. But it looks like these 2 can just get shipped out. So happy days. Alrighty. Well, thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And I'll catch you all in the next video.